Going on in the news at the minute. This is the hot topic, isn't it?
This really is, and Rishi Sunak, the Chancellor, is under pressure to do something to help alleviate that pressure that so many households are feeling. Yes, very good morning to you. The Chancellor is due to deliver his spring statement on Wednesday. It's usually an update on the economy, but the government is increasingly facing calls to announce new measures to try and help people out. And this is why. Over the last year, inflation has risen to 5.5%. Prices for things like food and fuel, they're rising at their fastest pace for nearly 30 years, and there's little sign of that slowing down. Have a look at this. This is the average price of petrol and diesel at the end of last week. A litre of diesel is now 20 pence more expensive than it was at the start of March. And in just over a week from now, millions of households will see their yearly energy bills go up by nearly £700. And many are already struggling. One charity says nearly 8 million people are now behind on their bills. My colleague Elaine Dunkley has been to meet some of those who are struggling to make ends meet.
Stay safe and thank you.
Every week, the queues get longer for the bread and butter thing. It's a charity that takes surplus food from supermarkets and factories to provide affordable food for families.
Oh, lovely, thank you.
At the start of the pandemic, in Darlington, we met Kylie.
I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's helped massively. So surreal, you just couldn't imagine yourself being in this situation.
You got any tiny babies in your family?
In Manchester, at the start of last year, we met Pavel. He'd just lost his job.
I'm an engineer. I was working on aircraft and trains, so I'm really qualified, but at the moment I'm struggling. And basically in the pack is absolutely everything what we need to survive for a week for the family of 4.
Many families are still struggling with the effects of the pandemic. And now, with the rising cost of living and the impact the war in Ukraine will have on food prices. Grazielle runs a hair salon in Harperhay in Manchester.
You know, I have one lady that knows the price of everything. If you say how much is sugar, well, in Asda the sugar is this much, in Tesco's is this much. She knows everything. I'm like, how do you know all this?
Grazielle uses the bread and butter thing and recommends food clubs to all her clients.
This is everyday conversation in the salon with every client. It comes back to cost of living these days. Basically now, people are shopping more in cheaper shops. You see lots of people actually going to the reduced aisle. You see when they pull the rack of bread out, you know, lots of hands, people jumping on top of each other to get the reduced stuff. What can I say? I don't want to get emotional myself, but it's sad.
The last time food prices rose this quickly was back in 1976, during a financial crisis.
Here in this market, where things are generally cheaper than in most high streets, Brussels sprouts at Christmas time are costing up to 28 pence a pound.
What can I do? They've got to eat, innit? Same as everything else.
Are they complaining about it?
No, what can I complain about? Only too glad to get it, innit?
The government says it's providing £12 billion of support over this financial year and next to ease the cost of living pressures. But as inflation reaches a 30-year high, there's growing concern.
We've already faced the earthquake that is COVID, the global pandemic, and now we're having to face the economic tsunami that's followed. People that have never faced this sort of thing before, that really don't know what to do, people are struggling.
Anyone can join the bread and butter thing, and it's changing the way people shop.
Our members get, for £7.50, 3 bags of food. That would normally cost you around £35 to £40 in a supermarket.
Yeah, it's just come in this one, so we need to get it in.
Yeah. Something's gone wrong if families that are working for a living can't afford to put food on the table. We've got widening gaps of people that have got static wages but growing prices for food, for energy and debt. We need to think about the eligibility criteria of so many different things and benefits right now. Free school meals are not accessible to a lot of people that were on the cusp already.
How about we do sort of a ratatouille, but we add pasta and lentils to it, bulks it up a bit.
Yeah.
Some of the food collected by the bread and butter thing is delivered to this community centre in Salford.
I started coming as a volunteer probably some point in 2018.
Volunteers turn it into a 3-course meal, free to anyone who fancies eating out.
We've got a soup ready, we've got everything to go for the main course as well. So I'm looking forward to those guys trying it now. We've Had a little sample in here, as you know, quality control.
For Chef Andy, getting restaurant-quality food out is a real buzz.
I think Food Cycle as a charity has saved millions of tonnes of food that would have originally gone out to waste. And people like we're seeing here tonight, some of our guests, they can come here, they can socialise, they can have a chat, they can have a 3-course meal on us. It's got to be a good thing.
So you get these 2 bags here, bag of eggs there.
The bread and butter thing has doubled in size since the start of the pandemic, serving thousands of families and opening hubs in schools and community centres across the north of England. And as prices continue to rise, an increasing number of people are turning to schemes like this to put food on the table. Elaine Dunkley, BBC News.
It's really heartwarming to see what people and charities are doing, isn't it? But the question is, what is the government doing to help? Well,